halfway to end the year, Brad, where do you go from here? What are the first thoughts?
Oh, well, I mean, the end of the game was really pleasing. I mean, it was we're outplayed clearly for the first 3 quarters, but it's very, very difficult, even psychologically, when your season's done. And really, there's essentially there's not a lot to play for except for pride and fight in Dyson Heppell's last game. But we're really we were really keen at 3/4 time that we needed to fight, because it does lay a platform for the future, and it also tells a bit of a story about your players and their willingness to fight, because it's probably easier to fight when there's something worth fighting for, but when you can't play finals. The fight in the last quarter is hopefully a good sign of springboarding us into an off-season and a pre-season where we know the areas we need to get better in, but the fight and the competitiveness is something that you want to have as a given, and that was pretty good in the last quarter.
Broadly speaking, you've sort of tailed away as the season's gone on. What do you make of it as a whole this year?
That's probably true if you just look at wins and losses, and that's what ultimately what counts in the qualifying period. Your wins and losses. But I think there were parts of our game in the first half of the year that we weren't happy with at all, and we needed to get better at. But we found a way to win a lot of games. In the second half of the year, it was a bit the opposite. We liked a lot of the foundation of our game, but some of our ability to finish and particularly finish off games was poor. But it's we'll do a detailed analysis of it all and work out what we need to work on in the pre-season to bridge the gap between us and the best teams. And there's quite a few things, but I think there's a lot to be optimistic about. Even from a player perspective, Corwell and Durham have had terrific years, who are now have played permanent inside midfield, who had never really played that role for us before. Nate Caddy's coming to the side, Archie Roberts is coming to the side. There's a lot coming through that we can be pretty excited about, but we need to improve our list like everyone, and there's where we finished is not too far off where we are, but it's a really the great thing about this competition is it's really tight, and if you start predicting what the ladder will look like this time next year, good luck to you.
So on that note of improving your list, what are your priorities for the off-season ahead, the trade and draft period?
I mean, there's so many. It's very hard to be specific about that right now. It's the simple answer is we're just looking to get better. We're looking to improve all areas of the game, and all areas. We've got some areas we'd like to improve, both forward, back, and midfield. So it's not one specific area, and we don't also think it's going to be one specific area is just a quick fix. It's just it's a build for us to be where we want to be. That wasn't me.
Some words on Dyson Heppell's last game. He would have been in your best half dozen tonight.
Yeah, he was terrific. He's just a heart and soul type of guy. I feel like I've talked about him a lot, and I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. But a lot of people say, team first, club first, and it's an easy thing to say, but it's a difficult thing to follow through with your actions day in, day out over a long period of time. And our club's been through some significant challenges over the last decade in particular, or two. And he's been someone who's really hoisted the club on his shoulders and led from the front and invested in the team when, if anyone had the right to sit down and say, poor me, I've been really unlucky. I've arrived at a really difficult time when he was drafted and had to lead the club through a really difficult time. He would have the right to do that, but he's the opposite of that. He's the ultimate example of team first, the ultimate example of hard work and preparation, and he's unfortunately the ultimate example of there's a lot of luck in our game. You can be in the right place at the right time, or at the wrong place at the wrong time. So, but he'll leave an indelible legacy in our club. And he touched on Archie Roberts after the game, and that he's going to leave a significant influence on those young players.
He could have left too, which speaks to his loyalty.
Yeah, multiple times. Like a lot of players at Essendon through that period, and he's got a genuine love for this football club, and he's genuinely invested in it over a long period of time. And I've said a couple of times that I think there isn't a single person who's had a long career, either as a player or a coach in AFL footy, who has given more to the game than the game's given to them. But if there's anyone I've come across that it's close, Dyson would be the closest, where I think he's given more to our club and the game than the club and the game's given him.
Brad, you said that you thought that you had to make improvements forward, mid and back. Does that mean you think there's still quite a jump to get to the top teams in the league, or are we talking tweaks here, do you think?
No, not tweaks. I mean, I think it's just, look, the last round often in a season, when you've got teams who can't qualify for finals, you see gaps open up and you see teams get blown away. It happens pretty regularly. And in my opinion, the reason that is when you lose that fight and that absolute desperation and you're just a little bit off, you get exposed and you get hammered. So it's never as far away as you think it is, but also not kidding ourselves. We need to get, we were outclassed today by a better team who played better than we did. And so it's not going to be tweaks. We've got a lot of work to do. But again, I mean, I don't need to tell everyone. Everyone knows how tight the comp is. It's just that's the reality of the competition we exist in, and that's the exciting thing because, a little bit of improvement, more than everyone else, can lead to pretty good things.
Brad, what do you make of your old team? Can they win it from outside the top four? Yeah,
everyone can. No, it's the game's changed a bit. The bye before the finals gives teams the opportunity to sharpen up, freshen up, get some players back who are maybe a bit sore or struggling, in one way or another. Top four used to be a bigger advantage than it is now. But no, I think there are even teams outside the 8 would be a chance if it was a final 10. It's just so close.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.